We all go through times when we just don't have enough time. We try to get to the piano, but for one reason or another, it just doesn't happen. 2 weeks later, you haven't touched the piano and you feel like you're starting from scratch again. We're all at different points in our piano journey, meaning our goals vary. So I'm going to show you 3 different practice routines with 3 different goals in mind. I'm not going to give you exact things to practice, but suggest how to use what's in your current routine. Also, these routines aren't meant to be used permanently, but periodically when you feel swamped with other life things. Your most important goal might be to preserve what you have. In other words, you don't want to lose any progress on your current pieces, but you're okay with treading water for just a bit. In this case, I don't think a warm-up is necessary, so let's say you're working on 2 pieces. Take 10 minutes on each and play through each one slowly. So how slowly? Slow enough that it feels easy for you to play. If there are any small sections you don't have down yet at any tempo, just skip over them. But this is only if you really can't play it. Remember your goal: to maintain what you have. If during every practice session you hack your way through a section that you just don't know yet, you're only going to make it worse. After your slow and easy run through, use the rest of your time to hit notoriously tricky spots. You know where they are. Do a little practice and cleanup, always ensuring things remain easy. If there's a tricky technical spot, do short bursts of up-to-tempo passages, but always follow that same passage with slow to moderate playing. When you want to maintain what you have, you don't want to leave your short practice session frustrated or confused. And that's it for this goal. Remember, it's about reinforcing and maintaining, not necessarily making progress. But here's the secret. If you practice this way and make your session as smart and efficient as possible, you'll probably make a little progress too. If your goal is to polish a piece, do a quick 3-minute smart warm-up to get your mind and body ready. Then do one easy playthrough of the piece. It doesn't have to be extraordinarily slow, just make sure it's easy. If your piece is 10 minutes long or more, pick a large section to work on rather than the entire piece. And then tomorrow, choose a different section. When you're playing it through, if you have a flub, take mental note of where that spot was so you can immediately return to it after your playthrough. Work that small section, remembering that your goal is to polish. In other words, be sure you're playing the flub section more times correctly than incorrectly. It might be slow practice or sectional practice where you repeat tricky technical passages multiple times. It could mean practicing in rhythms or consciously memorizing a portion of that passage. Whatever it is, state your purpose, propose a solution, and then execute. After a few minutes, stop and reassess. Is your solution working? If not, state your purpose or what's not going right, propose a solution, then execute. When you're short on time, you always want to have that purpose or goal, then try to come up with a solution rather than just mindlessly playing and execute. And of course, you're constantly reassessing. If you do have extra time, add an additional slow playthrough at the very end to solidify. If you're in the beginning stages of learning a piece, the most crucial element to your practice is constant reinforcement. So after your short 3-minute warm-up, take 8 measures you haven't learned already, and that's your focus for today. Do your best to learn all the notes and rhythms solidly. There's no need to really focus on getting it to its final tempo range, but if you can, that's great. It might take up your remaining practice time to just learn those 8 measures, and that's fine. But here's the important part. Tomorrow, during your 20-minute practice session after your warm-up, play through the 8 measures that you learned the day before, slowly, then a little faster and a little faster again. So do it 3 times in a row. And this is your reinforcement period. The first time you play those 8 measures, it might feel like you're starting from scratch, and you might even wonder if you really actually practiced it yesterday. But as you go through it and repeat that 8 measures, it will become more familiar. And this is why constant reinforcement is crucial. After you've done that, pick a new 8 measures to learn and rinse and repeat. As a bonus, if you have 3 minutes of free time throughout the day, sit down and slowly play through the 8 measures you learned that day. As much as you can, reinforce, reinforce, reinforce. Also, sometimes a piece is very complex and learning 8 measures in under 20 minutes is impossible. That's fine as well. Simply amend the 8 measures to 4 or even 2. If you only have time to learn 1 measure, it's still more than you knew yesterday, and I consider that a win, especially when there's so much going on in the rest of your life. So think about your practice goals and then choose a 20-minute practice routine that aligns with those goals. You can maintain and make progress even with this short time period. And then when life returns to normal and you do have more time, you can return to your 30, 45, or more minutes of practicing. If you're looking for a practice challenge, check out my 12-week major key challenge or my 12-week minor key challenge. Each video goes through the scale and arpeggio in that key, and I make sure to give you fingerings and other tips, along with several free pieces at all levels to learn in that key. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time.